How you doing, guys? My name is Thomas Nixon. Most people call me Peyton. Today, I'm going to discuss a big piece of art or artist that was really influential to me. His name is Sean Carter. Most of you guys know him as Jay-Z. To be honest, my first encounter with Jay-Z, I hated him. My first time experiencing Jay-Z, it was like, I can't stand this guy. I was young. I'm like in first grade, probably younger, and I'm not really in the lyrics yet, barely even in the rap. And it just seemed like he was so consistent that he was too consistent for me. It was like every week Jay-Z had a new song, and I really couldn't stand it. But I had a cousin of mine named Morgan who that was like one of her all-time favorites. It was like from a child to even today, she'll fight you over Jay-Z. So by the time I hit about middle school, she told me, a big reason you don't really like Jay-Z like that, you never gave his first album a try. You never checked out Reasonable Doubt. And around this time, I'm finally getting into rap. I'm listening to Lupe Fiasco, listening to a little bit of Nas. Like at this point, I'm actually getting into the art of rap and not just the sound, the beats and like the dance. So I give Reasonable Doubt a try. And I mean, it made me feel like crap basically for any opinion I ever had on this man. I mean, my favorite song of all time is Feeling It from, the album Reasonable Doubt. It was just like the album was really like soul touching, and from then on I kind of followed Jay-Z. I had to catch up. I had to listen to all of his other albums, all the blueprints in my lifetime. And one thing I noticed about Jay-Z was that he was this street guy, and he was this street guy that I could easily relate to because he wasn't trying to influence me to join the streets with him. You know what I'm saying? He was this guy who was telling you his experiences so that you wouldn't have to go through them. But if you did choose to go through them, he was trying to give you pointers of things that he did and mistakes that he made to hopefully help you maneuver around those type of choices. But at the same time, he had an open mind to let you know there's way more out here than the streets. There's so much more out here that you can grasp for than just the corner and what, most people that's in my environment grow up seeing. That, some people don't get the opportunity to venture outside of their neighborhood to see past all of the negativity. And the more that I follow Jay-Z, he was, I also see how much of a businessman he was. For a guy who didn't even finish high school, was really, really good on being a entrepreneur and a businessman instead of just a blindsided artist that was just chasing, fame and a rap deal or a rap dream. This guy knew his worth. Knew his worth from the beginning. Even in some of his old music, he pretty much tells you what he wants to do before he does it. I mean, he even has songs telling you how he's gonna bring a team to Brooklyn. See how that went down? Like, I mean, it's just he has a big influence on me because with him, when I listen to him, I feel like there is no limit. Like, the sky is the limit with Jay-Z, and the sky is the limit with you too. He's not just so up on a pedestal of himself that he feels like he's the only guy that was capable of doing that. He always tries to express that we all have that power in us. We just have to tap into it. And it doesn't matter where you come from. You can come from the hood, you can come from the suburbs, you can come from another country. It doesn't matter like what your circumstances were. It's just all about that fight you got in you. It's all about how bad you want it and how bad you're willing to push for it, what you're willing to sacrifice, how much time you're willing to put into this vision that you might have that nobody can see but you right now. And, you know, he's made that very clear countless times, year after year. And, you know, he made me a big believer, somebody who couldn't stand his man at one point. I mean, my ears would bleed when I heard Jay-Z as a child. Where now, like, I know so many Jay-Z songs about her, it doesn't make no sense. And I mean, he's not like, I wouldn't put him as my top artist because I just personally think that's not fair because he's that good to me. But, you know, he's definitely a top influential, you know, piece of art, period. You know what I'm saying? Sean Carter is the human, Jay-Z is the art. Jay-Z is a very influential piece of art that I'm very glad that I got to experience.